Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and today we're going to be talking about the differences in the way that Americans and Brits make the bed. Here we go. So we spent about a year in the UK. We lived in England, but we actually got to travel all over the UK, and I noticed something while I was there that was different about the way that we make the beds. And I'm not specifically talking about the making of the bed, but more so the composition of the sheets and blankets. Both Americans and Brits start the same way, which is with this, what do you call this kind of sheet? A fitted sheet. You start with the fitted sheet. That's standard in both locations. And a fitted sheet is just a sheet that fits over the top of the mattress. If I'm a Brit, I will add a duvet plus a few pillows. What is a duvet, my American listeners may ask? A duvet is this. It is kind of like a comforter. It's the same idea as a blanket, but instead of a blanket that stands alone, it's a blanket that's wrapped in sheets. It's like a giant pillowcase for your blanket. A duvet is really, really convenient because instead of having to make your bed, quote unquote, you can literally just kind of throw this duvet up in the air, kind of arrange it on the bed, and you're done. The bed is already made. I will say, for someone who used a duvet for over a year, they're a little bit less convenient when it comes to washing, but in the day-to-day, everyday use, it's much more convenient. The only time that a duvet is also less convenient than the American system, in my opinion, is when it comes to the spring and fall days where the temperature fluctuates night to night, and some nights it's too hot and you're like, well, I gotta unpack this duvet, and some nights it's too cool, and so then you're packing your duvet back in there again. You can use the duvet without the internal part, like a sheet, which is good for cool weather. No, it's good for warm weather, and then if you pack it back in there again, it's good for warm weather. If I'm an American starting from the same place, this is just a fitted sheet on there, I do things a little bit differently. Now, you can probably barely tell in this video at all, but there's a second sheet on top of this bed, and it's called a top sheet because it goes on top of the fitted sheet. Let me show you. Follow me back here. Okay, there's a second sheet here on top of the first sheet. This sheet is meant to act as a barrier, similar to the way that the duvet system works. This is a barrier for the blanket that I'm going to put on top. Now, to an untrained eye, the blanket looks very similar to the duvet, but the difference is it's completely sewn up. What that means is the blanket is very hard, the comforter is very hard to wash. And when you do wash it, the insides get all weird, so it's better not to wash the comforter. Instead, you sleep between the two sheets, which are easy to wash, and you don't actually have like direct body contact with the comforter on top. The benefit of this system is washing is really actually pretty easy, but making your bed every day is much more difficult because you have to reset the top sheet and the comforter if you're like a rough sleeper, if you like roll around a lot and all that kind of stuff like my wife. Another benefit of this system is in the same night, it's very easy. Like if the night starts off very warm and then gets cooler because you have the window open or something like that, it's very easy to start with both blankets on and then throw one of the blankets off and just sleep under the sheet or something like that. You can change your mind in the middle of the night quite easily about what temperature you'd like to sleep at. I do want to address some of my friends out there who are in America who may happen to have used a duvet before and say, what? Duvets are not simply British, they're not only British. They're certainly not, but the much more common practice in the United States is to use a sheet and comforter as I've shown here. The duvet is kind of antiquated in the United States. In fact, the only duvet that I couldn't find one. They don't tend to sell them in the stores very frequently, but it's one from an old farmhouse that Danielle's family owns. But this simple difference does actually change the way that you make your bed. I think it would actually be more confusing for a British person to come to the United States and try and figure out this system than it would be the other way around. But both the systems essentially accomplish the same thing. Let me know in the comments what you think the better system is and which one that you prefer. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, do feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, see you guys next time.